Hello, I'm meteorologist Brad Warner from Region Weather Live, your YouTube source for weather across the Dakotas and Minnesota. And we're going to start off the week a little stormy with a few days of some severe weather. I have overlaid here the Storms Prediction Center and where they're thinking the thunderstorms are going to be and where the best chance for some severe weather is going to be on Monday. And you can see here where the upper level pattern lies. You can see that ridge out into eastern parts of Montana and then kind of that northwesterly flow heading down into South Dakota. Now within that ridge is going to be a little shortwave impulse that rides over the top and runs down and into that area here that we have marked with the slight risk and the marginal risk for severe weather going into Monday, mainly going into Monday night and early Tuesday morning. In fact, you can see here, we're starting right around 7 p.m. by the time some of those storms start to make it into western parts of South Dakota, even into North Dakota. But it looks like the more severe storms should roll across South Dakota and down into Rapid City and maybe just kind of southwest of Pierre and through that Murdu area, and then eventually down to south central parts of the state down through Winter. And then as you can see here, really this finally moves out of the state early Tuesday morning. We're talking 4, 5, 6 a.m. in the morning by the time some of those storms exits out of the state. Now, as we go into Tuesday, we have the marginal risk kind of shifts a little bit more into North Dakota, northwest Minnesota, far northeastern parts of South Dakota. And so this model kind of starts off with a few thunderstorms across south central, southeast parts of North Dakota going into the morning, but that's really not going to be the main part. What we're going to be focused on is more so later in the afternoon. And actually at the upper levels, again, we have a pretty stiff westerly wind pushing in through here. And at the same time, at the surface, we're going to have a surface warm front and a cold front quickly behind that. So it's going to be kind of in this area up and through here where we're thinking the storms are going to start to fire into the afternoon and evening hours. Now, this model kind of gives a little bit better representation, I think, of where I think those storms are going to fire Tuesday afternoon, kind of closer to that Rugby, Devil's Lake, down through Harvey, perhaps Steele, Jamestown, Valley City, somewhere in through here where we're looking for the best chance for those storms to develop and then kind of push east-southeast going into a later afternoon and into the nighttime hours. Now by midnight, 1 a.m. or so, we're looking at those storms kind of starting to make it into lakes country up in the northwest, north central parts of Minnesota, then continuing across the north throughout the early parts of Wednesday morning, and then eventually moving through Duluth before that noon hour time frame. But ultimately, the best chance for seeing those severe storms for Tuesday, mainly Tuesday afternoon and into early Tuesday night, is going to be right in through this region here. Now, ultimately, the type of severe weather we're going to have late Monday night into early Tuesday morning is going to be the large hail and the possibility of some strong damaging winds. So 1 to 2 inch hail, 60 to 70 mile per hour winds possible Monday night into early Tuesday morning. Now, late Tuesday into Tuesday night, I think it's about the same thing. We're looking at the large hail, the damaging winds, but I also think there's that isolated threat of a tornado as well. Now, the only caveat to Tuesday is going to be the amount of moisture available. As you can see, there's a system actually pulling out into the central plains as well, and we can see some high dew points getting wrapped up in through here. So we're expecting some pretty strong thunderstorms to develop across the central plains, and that could rob some of that energy, some of that moisture from moving northward. Now, some of these dew points do kind of poke north, but it's more of those a little bit mid-level moisture that might get robbed and taken away down in through here. So some of these storms on Tuesday could be more of the scattered to widely scattered variety. It's just a matter of time. We're just going to have to watch and see if more moisture than we're thinking actually is able to transport northward. Now, on Wednesday, we still have some pretty decent mid-level winds pushing across Minnesota, and this is all going to be about timing. Timing in that, how quickly will some of these storms move through Minnesota and move out? Is it going to be able to recover? How far east will that cold front move during the day on Wednesday to where there's going to be enough instability left across southern and maybe eastern portions of Minnesota that perhaps there's that slight possibility remaining on Wednesday for some severe weather there as well? Now, certainly further north on Wednesday, we do have the possibility of some scattered showers and thunderstorms, but given that's more in the cold side of the storm, the cold side of the system to where they're not really expected to be severe, maybe a stronger one, maybe an isolated severe, but nothing to be overly concerned about. Now, after Wednesday through the remainder of the week, really we're stuck into this northwesterly flow aloft, and that's really not good when we're talking about the possibility, when we're looking for some more widespread rain rains, some thunderstorms, some widespread severe thunderstorms. This at most, if we have a little weak disturbance that might slide down, it could bring some scattered to widely scattered type of storms, but nothing where we're looking at some good rains moving across our area. This is more of a bit of a drier pattern setup. And actually, as we continue on and we go into the weekend in the early parts of next week, we look at this big ridge that starts to develop across our region, and that's going to allow a lot of warm air into our area. So it's going to get drier and it's going to get hot. In fact, let's take a look at those forecasted temperatures here through the week here. We've got high temperatures for Monday, only near 60, way up by Grand Marais, far northeast corner of Minnesota. Meanwhile, down to the southwest, we're looking at the mid to upper 80s still. In fact, starting off the day on Monday, we're going to have low temperatures as low as the mid 40s, perhaps even some low 40s in some isolated spots across northern North Dakota. Tuesday, high temperatures fairly similar. We're looking at the 70s out in the east to 80s out in the west. Wednesday, those 70s remain in the north, while the south basically has the mid to upper 80s to around 90. Thursday, generally mid 70s to mid 80s. Friday, we're starting to get more into the 80s to some 90s down into South Dakota. Saturday, a little bit warmer, 80s and more 90s. Sunday, high temperatures, a little bit warmer, cranking up that heat a little more. And then by Monday, ouch. It could be everybody's in the 90s to triple digits out in the west. Now, some of this will have a little caveat to it. We do obviously have those fires up in Canada. So if any of that smoke does filter down in through here, obviously that's going to cool off the temperature some, but nevertheless, ooh boy, it's looking a little toasty going into the following week. So a stormy start to the week. So that means if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and then hit the bell button that pops up beside it. That way you're notified when I am on live, because I will be following these storms. And actually, I might actually go out and do a little storm chasing on Tuesday. We'll see how things develop. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button, because we'll keep you informed with the latest when it comes to severe weather across the region. And you'll also be notified when I do upload a video just like this. And yeah, at the very least, just hit the like button down below. That helps my YouTube channel get noticed by other people out there looking for weather information as well. All right, everybody, for Region Weather Live, I'm meteorologist Brad Warner, and everybody have a good day.